So I don't know about you, but I had a rough Saturday.
I just love that's our intro. I'm sorry.
I
I
know.
just love that we just kind of, you're gonna get the sense of that's how this episode's gonna go. That's how the weekend went.
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of just
Yeah.
eh.
And then just spirals out of control at the end.
Yeah, but we
So
promise that won't happen. That won't happen here.
I
Okay,
don't know
that's
about that one.
well, yeah, you're the Brownie fan, so you had a real shitty weekend. How do you have 4 interceptions and still lose?
I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it.
Okay, you were saying
I just know that Ohio State lost
Saturday
to
sucked.
Michigan in the big house, and Auburn
How?
somehow lost the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, fuck you, Auburn.
And
Sorry, I can't say that.
it's been rough. It's been rough.
Yeah, in case you guys missed it, as I'm trying to pick something off my floor, don't mind my head. In case you missed it, Florida had Alabama on the road, or not Auburn. Oh, good Lord.
My guy, is you okay? Is you okay
No,
over there?
I am not okay. Auburn was winning 10-0 in the fourth quarter. I was watching that game, and I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna do it! They're gonna do it! They're gonna do it!" And then leave it to Auburn, the poll in Auburn.
Literally fourth quarter, literally the last minute, just like a big choke.
Oh, it came down to
it was like the last 24 seconds.
Alabama a chance. It was like 43 seconds left, and you had a punt, and it gave Alabama a chance. And now, to Auburn's credit, and I know they're not gonna gloat about it, they're not gonna bring it up. They were on their backup quarterback. They had no other quarterbacks left, and that dude could barely run because he had an injured ankle.
Yeah.
And I know they had other injuries as well. So the fact that they took it to Alabama and, punch for punch that entire game.
Yeah.
Impressive. Now, it's also, I think we can all say Alabama's going to get their clock cleaned.
Yeah,
by Georgia.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's gonna be a for sure win for Georgia at this point. But I don't know. I was thinking for sure win for Ohio State this week, and that just was disgusting to watch.
I mean, I also think that's slightly different though, because we've been saying Georgia really hasn't shown any weakness this season.
That's
so
true.
I mean, now also Georgia hasn't played anybody like Ohio State has. We always talked about how Ohio State had a really good resume. And with that being said, Michigan had a really good resume, as well as Penn State and Michigan State, who they played, who they beat, all that stuff. But we've been talking about all year how wow, this is a glaring issue for Ohio State. And we've been talking about every single week, oh, well, it looks like we're not fixing that. Oh, it looks like we're just going to keep that the same. So I'm less surprised.
Yeah.
I think I told you a couple weeks ago, if there was a year for them to beat us, it would be this year.
Yeah. And it was this year. Just in what I saw of the game, once it started to just pull away from Michigan, I just said, yep, it's time to call it. So I stopped. I didn't watch the fourth quarter at all.
I sat there from start to finish. Went through. It was very similar, I think, as a fan watching. I would equate it to the national championship game last year against Alabama, where you're watching it and you're like, we clearly have a good team. In this case, we have the better team. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Michigan's a better team than Ohio State, because no, the truth is Ohio State is by roster one of the top 3 teams in the nation. Okay, yeah. Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State are by far the best 3 teams. However, Michigan played better.
Yeah.
Michigan had a better scheme. Michigan had a better game plan. Michigan had better coaching in this sense. Okay, so that's where it differs from last year, because I thought Ohio State had a really good team and a chance. If they played a perfect game, they're going to beat Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Alabama was the better team, and Ohio State had a terrible defensive scheme. I mean, that's just, it is what it is, right? Like, it was an awful defensive scheme. And unfortunately, that same issue reared its ugly head again.
Yeah.
Because the offense was not the issue. I'm sorry, you put up 27 points in a Big Ten game. I mean, reality, we're talking about a Big Ten game, you're probably scoring around 30 points, right? And you win or lose by a couple.
Yeah.
So 27 points. Now, the big thing is those 2 field goals in the first half that should have been touchdowns.
Yeah.
We stalled out, had to settle for a field goal. That changes momentum because that gives Michigan momentum. So that would have changed the whole complexion of the game. But you scored 27 points on the road. Last time I checked, there were 0 turnovers. You had a punt a decent amount, but 0 turnovers. So, I mean, you took care of the ball. The offense played fine. The offense played good enough to win the game. It was just the defense didn't stop anything. They forced them to punt once, and then Bryson Shaw had a really nice pick.
That was very clean.
I will say this though, Bryson Shaw, like rewatching that, if Bryson Shaw didn't pick it off, Denzel Burke would have.
Yeah.
Because it was just a terribly thrown ball, but it was like heads up play. He read the route completely, saw it out of his hands, boom, got it. But the run defense was just pitiful.
Yeah, Michigan literally just took over and said, hey, you can't stop us, so we're just going to keep running you over and over and over again.
Like, why would you stop, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, I want to make sure I got this right. I'm pretty sure.
Oh God, statistics, no.
Yeah. All right,
he had over 160 yards rushing. Haskins.
Yeah, Haskins had 169 yards rushing, 28 carries, average 6 yards per carry.
That's a great
and
day.
Then
I wish he was on my fantasy team.
2 other players, Blake Corum and AJ Henning, both rushed for 14 and a half or 14 and above yards average per carry.
Yeah, and Corum is going to be an issue because he's young. He's going to develop, and he chose Michigan over Ohio State. I also think that's partially because the Ohio State running back room is like ridiculously loaded. But with that being said, you brought up the rushing yards, and I heard the stat, after the game, and I was just reflecting on it. I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. So the last 12 meetings, including this one that we just saw, right? So the last 12 meetings between these 2 teams, the winner of the game has the most rushing yards.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, that shouldn't surprise me because we were talking about Big Ten football. It's just like with SEC football, right? Like typically the teams in those conferences, in those games, the team that wins the line of scrimmage and the team that runs the ball, most effectively wins the game. Yeah. Like typically speaking, that's what happens, especially when you're in a cold environment, because guess what? Those tackles hurt a little bit more. Yeah. They sting a little bit more. They don't hurt the offense as much as they hurt the defense. So it blows my mind that we tried to pass. And I understand the second half, we were behind. So, you had to go pass happy, right? You couldn't afford wasting the clock. But it's just, they're going to run the ball. Like everybody knew Michigan was going to run the ball. Harbaugh does not hide the fact that he loves to play old school. And I respect him for that.
Yeah.
Because he's saying, hey, I'm sticking to my guns. It works. It will break through at some point, and we're just going to wear you down. So props to him for sticking old school Big Ten football. I did enjoy seeing that aspect of it.
Yeah. And honestly, I think Harbaugh said, I might have taken a pay cut, but I'm going to earn that back, because I feel like he's kind of had a little bit of a turnaround as far as season goes,
It's finally clicked that he needs to focus on this game.
Yeah.
And I think it helps him. It helps him big time because, when he says our goal is to beat Ohio State, even though so many people from Michigan are like, oh no, Michigan State's our rival, Michigan State are right. Well, why do you care so fucking much about the Ohio State game then? Yeah. Right? Like, don't downplay it. Yeah. But also, we all know that in the Big Ten, Ohio State is the best team.
Yeah.
Like, so if your goal is to beat the best, then you're going to set up yourself for success. Like,
Yeah.
it made sense. It finally clicked to him. I, part of me, a very small part of me, enjoys that the rivalry is back,
Yeah.
because the large part of me is I effing hate him, so I want to beat him every single year.
Yeah.
But at least there's now can Ryan Day figure it out?
Yeah.
Because Ryan Day didn't have to play him last year.
Yeah.
Ryan Day the year before, guess what? That was all Urban Meyer's guys who were ingrained with the sense of, you hate this team, you better kill this team, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we're gonna see this coming year. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interesting to see kind of what happens in postseason, but more up and coming. I am more ready for these conference playoffs. All right, because we got Georgia and
I'm not ready.
Alabama.
I'm not ready.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready to see
I'm-
Michigan, and I believe the Hawkeyes, right? Or
Yes.
Wisconsin.
No.
Yeah, it is
So
the Hawkeyes.
madness occurred, right? We were
Yep.
talking about last week. Winner of Ohio State, Michigan goes to the East. Will it be Michigan's first Big Ten championship berth? And of course it is. And then we were talking about, if Minnesota beats Wisconsin and Iowa wins, Iowa's in. But if Wisconsin all that madness. Well, the Hawkeyes came back and beat Nebraska. I feel so bad for Nebraska.
Dude, Nebraska.
I feel so bad.
Nebraska.
Like, if you want to talk about a team that isn't bowl eligible that would probably win a bowl game, it's Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah, they're that one team that's like, you could probably send them out on the field right now, and they would probably get
with
you
anybody.
a win. Yeah,
they'd compete with anybody. Oh my god, like, like, I know we've talked about it. I know we've talked about it before, but they're non-conference. They played Oklahoma. They lost by 3, if I remember correctly. Michigan, they lost by 3. Michigan State, they lost by 4. I think it was something like that. Ohio State was 9, and then they have to play Minnesota. They have to play Wisconsin. They have to play Iowa. I mean, you're talking about ranked teams right there. Good Lord, they played like 7 ranked teams when they were when those teams were ranked. Like, good God. So it's just I feel bad for them. But yes, Iowa won and Minnesota smacked Wisconsin. So now we're looking at, can Iowa's defense slow down Michigan?
Honestly, I'm kind of go Michigan on this one.
See, I just don't want it to happen.
I know I don't want it to happen either, but in this case, Michigan came out on top, beat Ohio State. They proved that they do have a superior run game and a superior defense.
For that day,
yeah.
Oh, defense, defense, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Run offense. I think it's more frustrating that there wasn't any consistent run offense for them all season, and then it was just like, we're here for which you showed up when you needed to. So tip the cap.
That's what matters. I mean, as long as you're showing up, winning the big games. But
it's hardball. They're gonna lose. They ain't winning a ship, dude.
I don't know.
They ain't winning the Natty, at least. Like, there's no way.
They're definitely going first round. I think it'll all depend on who they play first round.
Luke Fickle is gonna dick them down,
dude. I don't honestly. Okay.
This as an
Ohio State is out. Now that Ohio State is out,
who do you for? Right?
I want to see Michigan lose
to Cincinnati. You want to see them lose to Cincinnati?
No. I want to see Michigan win out if that is an option. I don't want to see Georgia win because it kind of looks bad on like the Big Ten / Ohio State in a very far off relation. But I definitely think either Michigan or UC should win it, and I'd be content with it.
I would not be content if Michigan won a national championship.
I don't know. I feel like
I don't give a fuck if they're due. I don't care. I don't care if they're due.
It's like,
okay, they were due for an Ohio State win. This is not their year. Aiden Hutchinson can go suck a big fat dick. Okay. No. I respect them. They are good. But no, I'm not rooting for them. I am a Iowa Hawkeye fan for this weekend. And if Iowa doesn't get it done, which I don't think they will, because their offense is just atrocious.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just picking the winner here, and you're just like, I know Iowa's going to lose, but I'm going to pick Iowa.
Rooting for Michigan. I am not rooting for Michigan to win a national championship. I am a Georgia and UC fan at this point.
But just think, if Michigan wins out, it just shows
I don't care. It's Michigan winning
lost
out.
to
I don't care.
the best team, and that's literally what stopped them. I mean,
it's Michigan. I don't want them to have anything. I would love for them to be undefeated as they go into the game, right? Into the game against Ohio State. I would love for it to be 11-0 versus 11-0, but I don't want them to win anything. I understand it would look good. It would look good for Ohio State, but
it would look
as a diehard Ohio State fan, I don't want them to win anything. I want them to win their 11 games and then lose to us and lose in their bowl. Okay, that's what I want. I don't want them to win the Big Ten. I don't want them to win in the first round. I don't want them to win the national championship. But I also don't think that they can beat Georgia. So I can see them beating UC.
Yeah,
I think UC would give them a lot better game than we did, just because their defensive scheme. I think UC's defensive scheme would be more ready than ours, because it wasn't players. It wasn't like they were so much better player wise. It was the scheme. They're running it down your throat, and you refuse to go to a 4-3. You refuse to go to a 4-4. I mean, at this point, a 4-2-5 ain't cutting it, and you're refusing to change. You know what that is? The definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing and expecting different results. So at some point, like in the fourth quarter, I was just like, we're just going to lose because we're stubborn.
Yeah.
Like they're telling you, we're going to run. We'll pass occasionally. I don't care if they're run, and then they bomb downfield and they got you. Okay, whatever. They got you. They beat us deep. But you can't I think you said Haskins was averaging like 7-8 yards a carry.
Yeah, Haskins
can't let that happen.
7 yards a carry.
Yeah, you just can't let that happen. And I don't see Fickle letting his team be prepared or not be prepared when it comes to tough football. And it's definitely Georgia. Georgia ain't gonna let that happen. So
and also quick correction, it was 6 yards per carry.
That's still too many. That's still too hard. That's a great day if you're a running back,
but I mean, if you're also Blake Corum and you're a young guy and you come out and just completely stunt on Ohio State like it's no one's business, then like, hey bud, you want that starting role? You want to come to Ohio State? Want to come to Ohio
State? Henderson's the key. Henderson is the key. You pass the ball over 40 times in a game that it's snowing. That's play calling and coaching.
Yeah.
That is, you did not. I mean, I'm sorry, you needed to run it down Henderson's throat. But speaking of the run game, I thought this was very interesting. Somebody mentioned of the game, they're like, it's very interesting and very sad to see that Ryan Day has turned Ohio State into a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
It's a pass, no defense team. Right. And I get he's an offensive mind. He's not focusing on defense, but you need to hire people to then have a strong defense. And also, again, in order to win in the Big Ten, in order to win in the SEC, which typically are the two conferences battling for a national championship with legitimate contenders, you got to run the ball.
Yeah.
So you can't be pass. You got to be balanced at like max, you know?
Yeah.
So that quote of Ryan Day has turned Ohio State into a Big 12 team, I was like, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And then in addition, they said, clearly you can't get a consistent run game going when you have 4 offensive tackles on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And I voiced my concern about that back in September.
Yeah.
Early September.
I was like, in the season.
I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. 4 offensive tackles. Yeah, our pass protection is gonna be really good, but You need to run. You need to.
You need to move people,
Yeah, exactly. Right. You got
open
to
up
win the
those
trenches.
holes. And
You
it's
got to win the
like,
trenches.
yeah, you're technically winning. You're keeping a pocket open, but at the end of the day, you got to also be able to run the ball. So even if that means you switch out the line that's in to put in a more run-oriented line, like, yeah, the defense is going to know, like, oh, hey, they're
Yeah,
going
but
to
if you
run the ball. But,
execute, they
like, if
can't
you
stop,
execute,
right?
like, that's literally what Michigan did. They're like, hey,
We're gonna run the ball,
we're going to run the ball.
and you can't stop us.
Here. We're just going to, yep. Oh, 10 yards. All right,
Man.
let's go. First down, baby.
Speaking of that, so Matt Jones for Ohio State, he's an offensive guard. He played center a little bit last year when we had that whole fiasco with Josh Myers out for a couple games, but he came in pretty regularly for run plays. He would come in, and every time it worked. Like, I think he only got manhandled once this season. He's really good. I would like to see more of him, but the conference knows how good he is when he's a backup and he gets honorable mention for all Big Ten.
Yeah.
He's your 6th offensive lineman. Like, all the other coaches are paying attention to be like, this should have been your starting guard.
Yeah.
Like, if we're being completely honest. So you had, as Ohio State, because all the honors came out. Yesterday was defense, today was offense. And you had 6 offensive linemen honored in all Big Ten stuff. 6 offensive linemen. Some teams are lucky to have 2, if 1.
Oh, baby.
Like, it's just.
We just
I
built
don't know.
different, honestly,
I mean, yeah. But also, just speaking of defense, we'll get back to the Big Ten championship game, but I think Big 12, that will be interesting because you have the best defenses in the Big 12, Baylor and Oklahoma State now playing against each other.
Mhm.
Do you think Oklahoma State can slow down Michigan? Better than UC, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd say better than UC. But I don't think it's so much like their formation setup and everything. I think it's more they have just better personnel to handle Michigan rather than UC.
That's fair. I mean, I guess the thing that keeps pulling, like, I would rather see a Michigan Oklahoma State matchup than a Michigan UC.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That's partially because I want Michigan to lose. But
what about that Georgia?
Well, hell,
Georgia,
give them Georgia.
Let's get it first round, baby.
Go Bama and have Georgia be the 3 seed. And imagine that.
It might happen though. I'm not even
we're saying that and we're like,
I'm not even gonna try and be like, oh, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Cause when I do that, I feel like it's just like, you didn't want that to happen.
It happened.
Well, it happened.
I know.
I'm like, oh no.
I know that will happen now. God, you can blame me. Anybody out there, you can. I'll take all the heat for that if Bama beats Georgia.
Shame.
I guess the big thing for me in regard to Michigan is they've only showed up for 1 game. If you truly dive in, like, yeah, they have a lot of great wins. And I get playing in the Big Ten East is hard. I always say, by the end of the season, Bama and Georgia are beat up because they play in the SEC. Ohio State's always beat up because the Big Ten East, and typically we have to play Wisconsin at the end. So that's not easy, I get that they have a great resume, but when you dive into their wins, I mean, let's not forget, this is a team that blew a game against Michigan State. They were up 21-3 at halftime and blew it.
I mean, but that's a 4-point loss. That's not as bad as Ohio State losing to Oregon.
18-point lead. That's 7 points.
What?
That Ohio State lost by 7 points to Oregon.
Yeah, which is worse than
and Ohio State
how much
never,
Michigan lost to Michigan State.
And Ohio State was never leading that game. What I'm saying is Michigan was up 21-3 against Michigan State and lost by 4. They blew an 18-point lead.
Yeah, which is just comes down to, you didn't play your second half. You thought you had them in the first half, but you really didn't. In addition
to that, it's you barely beat Nebraska, which again we keep talking about. Nebraska is very tough, but
Yeah.
it's a bunch of escapes except for the Ohio State game. Like, you smacked Ohio State. Okay. You manhandled Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm not like, congrats to you, but I have yet to see you do that multiple times. If you did that to Michigan State, if you did that to Penn State, if you did that to Nebraska every single time, because even the Penn State game, they probably should have lost that game. So that's why I just don't believe that Michigan has the ability. I guess they do have the ability, but I don't see them winning back-to-back games in regard to the playoff, because you're talking about you're going to play against a physical, confident UC team or a very tough Oklahoma State team, or hell, maybe they get Notre Dame. I don't know. And then you're probably going to have to, and then you're probably going to have to go up against Alabama or Georgia, who are superior to you.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, they're superior. So I don't see them happening. Could they win? Well, they'll probably beat Iowa. Like, I don't see them losing to Iowa. I want Iowa to win, but I don't see them losing to Iowa. I just don't see them being able to string together, beating Iowa, winning a semifinal, and winning the national championship. I just don't see it happening. It's not in their DNA.
So I want to counter that and say, yes, like Georgia and Alabama do have better players. You know, that's just what it is compared to Michigan. But, you know, it doesn't matter if they have the better players. At the end of the day, you know, you don't want all the best players. You want players that share the skill needed to perform their duties to make the whole team work in a fluid motion, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I get that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, but at the same time, it's give and take on both. You got to have a mesh of both, because you can have a lot of great guys in the locker room and still be shit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
just
I get what you're saying, but I just think this is Georgia's year.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody beating Georgia.
Georgia looks good this year, and I think they'll do great. But you know, they've been number one all year. If they beat Alabama, you know, power to them. But if they lose to Alabama, then it kind of puts them in a spot where, you know, you're gonna either play them again or.
I see it. I don't think the committee would do that, because I don't think anybody wants to see that. Not like right away.
What, Georgia, Alabama?
Yeah, not in the first round.
Yeah, no, I don't think they'll happen first round.
Again.
They definitely play in the championship if they both got in.
Which that would just be a repeat of last time this happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have Alabama in there, so I want to see Georgia win the SEC. I think
they will.
I also don't want to see Georgia win, but you know, I think it's like you
said, because you're jumping on the good. I want to be a good conference mate. You know, fuck them. Fuck Michigan. No, you don't need to root for them. I don't care. That's the one school I never root
or
for
I'll
them.
go OSU. You know, Oklahoma State University. So you know, I got 3 other teams in there that I
would rather have.
I'm just
Notre Dame
for anyone other than SEC schools winning. So
I mean, I get that, but I'd rather have Notre Dame win another natty than Michigan. Ooh, I'd pay to see that. Michigan Notre Dame semifinal. I'd pay to see that.
That would be good. I'd like to see that.
I would like to see that.
Nostalgia wise, that'd be great.
That'd be historic. And
oh yeah.
Luck of the Irish. Oh, I'm a Notre Dame fan for that.
And then if they win out, there'll be a movie about it, and it'll be like Rudy 2.0. He'll come back and be the coach
because they did it without a coach.
Yeah.
Okay, let's touch on that real quick. Okay, that's a great segue. They did it without a coach. In case y'all missed it. Oh my God, Brian Kelly. So we are recording this as of December 1st.
Yep.
Okay, so Wednesday, December 1st. Yesterday, so November 30th, Brian Kelly said, "Peace,
I'll see you later,
South Bend," and headed down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
My man.
What is your take on that? Like, were you shocked? Were you like
I
confused?
honestly, I was kind of predicting it. I not necessarily predicting it. I was kind of expecting it, but like had a feeling that it was kind of going to happen. I just kind of feel like Brian Kelly as Notre Dame's head coach just doesn't make sense. Just because I feel like Brian Kelly is the kind of guy that wants to win, but Notre Dame has a lot of restrictions based on, their student athletes. They require a lot more. They're a very more academically prestigious school compared to
in with the Big
LSU.
Ten.
Yeah, it would fit in with the Big Ten perfectly. Just saying. But
yeah, because let's see, we got Northwestern. Northwestern is very academically prestigious, right?
Yeah,
we got Rutgers now, so Rutgers. But even like Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Michigan, Wisconsin, I kind of just do that. But Ohio State and Michigan take academics seriously. Yeah. So yeah, Notre Dame would fit in. But yeah. So you're saying he was like handicapping himself to some degree?
Yeah, to a degree, just because I think there would have been some kind of academic restrictions that would have stopped him from pursuing certain recruits just because, they don't meet the academic standards that Notre Dame has. But at LSU, I feel like it's a little more lenient. But like it's just not, just like a little bit, like like a little bit. I swear, guys. But I think he'll be able to do a little more recruiting.
A little honestly, more open recruiting.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna help LSU in the end. Just because Coach O left, but I think Brian Kelly is going to be a great replacement.
Coach O to Notre Dame. Dude. Oh my God. Talking about a culture shock.
Dude, that would be like, Coach O would be like, yeah, okay.
Go Ash.
People would be like, what did he just say?
Oh my God.
He said, go, what?
Oh my God. No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Even though I call him an angry little leprechaun, which I can't do anymore. That's so sad. I loved calling him an angry little leprechaun. He knows how to win.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally think that it was just, he looked at it and he was like, I've always been like, the narrative around him is, how to win, but you fail in the big games.
Yeah.
Right. You get to the big stage and you lose every single time. So he, instead of what some people are doing, like Lincoln Riley, which we'll get into in a second, he's taken that narrative and he's attacking it head on, right? He's like, there's an opening at LSU. I'm going to take it. I'm going to go to the toughest division of college football.
Yeah.
Which is also gaining Texas and Oklahoma in the next.
But I mean, does that make it more of a powerhouse? Because
it makes it more.
Lincoln Riley's gone.
I know, and we'll get to that, but it's still, the brands around it will make it more of a grind.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, they're still not going to be easy games. So, and like, you're going to see, oh man, we're at Texas. Oh man, we're at Oklahoma. Like, those are hostile environments. You're going to deal with some stuff. So he's taking this narrative head on and going, I'm going to try to show the world that I can win and I can succeed on the highest level. So I'm very interested. I would say I was a little shocked though. Like, the more and more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, I understand why he's doing it. But I was kind of shocked with, you got a sweet gig at Notre Dame. Like, you lose one game and you're still in the playoff consideration because you're Notre Dame. We were talking about the first half of their season, they were dog shit.
Yeah.
They should have like 5 losses on their record, but they don't.
Yeah.
And because they don't, and because they're Notre Dame, they might squeak in.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be great to see them kind of pull out a win, make it to the championship. Maybe
it would be really interesting because, as we noted before, they don't have a coach, right? So Brian Kelly has announced that he's the LSU coach. He's been announced as the LSU coach. He is no longer in South Bend. And as far as we know, there's not an interim head coach at the current moment. So that, I think, would be why it's more of a story, more of a headliner, is if they win, if they get in, it's they don't have a coach. Like, what's going to happen if they win? Then it's like, oh my God, they won without a coach. Like,
I'm telling you, Rudy to bring in who played Rudy? Was that Brian Aston?
I've never seen Rudy.
What?
Excuse
me.
I've boycotted Rudy because it is a Notre Dame film. I have boycotted Rudy because it's a Notre Dame film.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to fight.
I hate Notre Dame and Michigan.
Yeah, Sean Aston, head coach of Notre Dame, Rudy to documentary. Let's start it up, guys.
Not only do they take down the Goliath of the Georgia Bulldogs, but they meet their arch rival in the Michigan Wolverines, and led by John Harbaugh. In a late fourth quarter, Rudy dials up the fumble-rooski.
Guys, you're gonna just have to pitch the ball, okay?
Oh my God, that would be such a okay. If Notre Dame slips in at 4, upsets Georgia without a head coach, and then beats Michigan in a national championship for a national championship, oh my God,
CBS make that movie.
That will turn into a movie within like 3 years.
You're welcome for the idea.
Guaranteed.
Just send us some money. Yeah.
And I will not watch it.
I will watch it because
I
like a good film.
I will just watch the part where they beat Michigan because that will make me happy.
You don't even care about Rudy. You're not going to know the struggle he goes through to become
was he, a walk-on?
There. Yeah.
He was a walk-on linebacker, undersized, and then worked his way up through special teams.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Because I know the basis of the movie. I've just never watched it.
Actually, I don't think he works his way. Well,
I just know he gets carried off
at
the end. Okay, that's all I know.
Forget what happens in the last game, but he basically like wins the game for him, and then they're like, Rudy, and then that's the film. As I see it in my eyes.
I would recommend the film that what is it called? It's about Burlsworth. If you guys don't know, the Burlsworth Award goes to the best former walk-on in America. So they started their career in college football as a walk-on and then ended up on scholarship. This guy went to Arkansas, offensive lineman, one of the best guys, got drafted by the Colts and unfortunately lost his life in a tragic car accident. So he never played it down for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah,
you know,
I remember it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix and it's a great movie. Fantastic. I just can't remember the name of the movie right now.
Let's see here. Do you have any idea of how to spell his last name?
Burls, Burls, and then Worth.
Brandon Burlsworth.
Yep, there you go. Dude became an All-American. He was great. That's when Arkansas was good. And then I say that, and yet we're witnessing Arkansas be ranked.
It's called Greater.
Greater.
It is on Netflix, and you can also purchase it from Google Play, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, and yes.
It's on Hulu?
No, it's not on Hulu.
Oh, you said Vudu. Gotcha.
Vudu.
Well,
like Netflix, voodoo magic.
Yeah, it's really good.
On me.
It's sad, but it's really good. Yeah, no, there will be a Rudy too if Notre Dame gets in. And God, the only thing that I'd be okay with is that Marcus Freeman is their D coordinator. Former Buckeye, played with James Laurinaitis, played for Fickle, was the D coordinator for UC last year with Fickle. I'd be okay because he's on the staff. But I just don't like Notre Dame. I think it's more of I don't like Notre Dame fans.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing.
I think you just got to give the team a chance. I'm not a big fan of the Notre Dame fans, just because they're like, oh, we're Notre Dame.
I think that's what's so
so much
frustrating is they're
better.
like, yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
just
They're
like,
so entitled. It's like your fan base makes me hate you. It's not the players. They have really good players. I enjoy what they produce, right? Like I enjoy the guys that they put to the league, but it's just like you're so snobby that I hate you.
yeah.
Like I root for your team to lose every single week because of all the interactions I've had with Notre Dame fans. And of course, I'm trashing Notre Dame right now. And I have two friends from Thomas More who are Notre Dame fans. They know I don't like Notre Dame. I've had this conversation with them before, and they don't like Ohio State. So it's okay. It's
At least you
fine.
guys understand your differences
Well,
and are willing to live with each
and
other
it
through it.
helps that we can bond over the hatred for Michigan because Notre Dame
Yeah.
and Michigan
Yeah.
is a traditional rival. So God, I want Notre Dame in the Big Ten so bad. Like, put them
But
in
Notre
because
Dame is just like, we're special. You can't put us in any
I
conference.
know, but I'm just saying, oh my God, do you know the atmosphere if it came down to like if you put them, I think you'd have to put them in the West, but like Michigan, Notre Dame for the championship, Ohio State, Notre Dame for the
Yeah.
championship, like,
It
oh
makes
my
so much
God,
sense to me, but
that
no, I
cross
don't think
division
Notre
game.
Dame will
Oh,
ever
they'll
do
never
it.
do it. They'll never
And
do
the
it.
day that they do decide, hey,
We'll
we're
be
gonna join a
dead.
conference,
We'll be dead. It's fine.
I'm gonna go crazy. Probably gonna just go
Like I said,
insane
we'll
because
be
like it'll
dead.
be nice. No, I don't think we'll be dead by then. Hopefully
No, but we're gonna go
have
crazy
its
and be
next like
dead.
oh yeah,
Like, we're
yeah. So I mean, if
oh
you
my
like this
God.
podcast, you might not want to hear Notre Dame just transferred to the Big Ten because I don't think we'd
uh,
be able to
in
record
another
any
shocking
episodes.
move. Yesterday, Brian Kelly left Notre Dame. Today, Notre Dame announces it's moving to the Big Ten. Do you know how crazy that would be?
Let's go.
I would love it. I would love that because Notre Dame has so
It
many.
makes sense.
They
They
have
have a
so many
lot of good
rivalries.
sports too,
Yeah.
and
Well, yes,
a lot of
absolutely. They're
rivalries in the
so
Big
fun to
Ten.
watch in lacrosse and hockey, and they make the game so entertaining. But they do have a bunch of traditional rivals in this area.
Yeah,
And then I'm all for if they want to say, hey, every year we're going to play USC in a non-conference game. Keep
yeah,
that rivalry. I don't
yeah.
care. Like keep
I'm
that. And
down for
guess what?
that.
They're probably going to be ranked and give them a couple years. They're probably going to be ranked every year. So guess what? You have a ranked opponent. Like look at that. But I think we're getting off track now.
Yeah,
We're going down a rabbit hole.
but so Lincoln Riley
Oh
though,
yeah.
like,
Speaking of USC,
my guy,
I mean, we're just like, wow, we're
all over the place right now.
indirectly segueing correctly as we go and not even realize. Yeah. So Lincoln Riley uh, met with her. I just love that it was after they lost to Oklahoma State. So the equivalent of Ohio State losing, right?
Yeah.
Like Oklahoma losing to Oklahoma State was the equivalent of Ohio State losing to Michigan because it rarely happens.
Yeah.
He in his post game conference is asked, "Are you going to be the next LSU head coach?" And he said, "No, I'm not going to be the next LSU head coach. I'm not leaving Oklahoma." And then on Sunday, it's
Liar.
announced that he has accepted the USC head coaching gig. And
Liar.
in addition, he took what I read was 4 assistant coaches with him.
Yeah.
He took 4 assistant coaches. So now Bob
Guys.
Stoops has come out of retirement to be their interim head coach for the bowl game, just for the bowl game. And they're not bringing anybody else in as like interim, whatever. They're finishing out the game just with these guys, and then they're going to figure everything else out.
But that's kind of cool that Bob's coming out of retirement. Just
it's because he loves
coachable
Oklahoma.
game. Yeah, I mean,
He loves Oklahoma.
he believes.
I have a lot of respect for him.
Or Sooner. I said Razorback. My bad.
Yeah, that's Arkansas.
Yoink.
Soon Oklahoma could be West Arkansas as well. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Who knows? Maybe Arkansas will own all of Oklahoma and Texas in like 3 years.
I mean, I think so. Honestly, Oklahoma can probably just take over. But then Arkansas is just going to take over Oklahoma. So then like they basically just take over all the work that Oklahoma took over. So it's like, it's fine. That works out.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Oklahoma, did you see that I think it was within 5 hours of Lincoln Riley announcing that he would, or being announced as the USC head coach, they lost their top 5 recruits for 2022. They all decommitted. And one of them,
and committed to USC because Lincoln Riley, baby.
well,
Let's go.
So 5 decommitted, 1 committed in the same day to USC.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about the other 4. But in addition to that, I've heard that 3 of their starters have entered the transfer portal.
Doesn't surprise me.
3 of their offensive starters have entered the transfer portal. So it's just a hot mess in Norman.
Yeah.
It's just a hot
Honestly,
mess.
I think it's going to be for the better for Oklahoma, though. They'll finally get
I
someone
think it
in there
is.
that hopefully they'll get someone in there that'll build a nice defense for them. And then they can actually compete with top dogs, because I want to see some Big 12 future SEC school kind of tear it up a little bit, you know?
I think it'd be very interesting if Oklahoma and Texas came in and stunned everybody. Right? I think that would be.
Yeah.
I think that'd be hilarious.
I mean, that's what I want to see. But I mean, Texas is kind of a joke. Oklahoma at this point is like,
it's trending that way.
Like,
right? It's trending that way.
Currently,
Spencer Rattler also. That just reminded me. Spencer Rattler joined the transfer portal as well. So
yeah,
you're gonna have a young team with Oklahoma.
Yeah,
but I think you're right. They're gonna bring in a coach that is both sides, right? Because what they're gonna do with their candidates. I mean, we already know Notre Dame. What we're seeing for like the head coaching is they're probably gonna go after Fickle hard, even though Fickle came out today and said, "I'm not leaving Cincinnati. Like I'm not leaving Ohio."
Yeah, he said, I'm pretty sure he said, "I'm not leaving Ohio." And like I said a couple weeks ago, Ryan Day is going to get pulled
to the Chicago Bears,
and Fickle is just gonna move up north about 2 hours and be like, "What's up, idiots? I'm back."
I really think that's gonna happen, and I think it's gonna force Notre Dame. I would love it. I think it's gonna force Notre Dame to make Marcus Freeman, who's their current defensive coordinator, the head coach. But the differences between the Notre Dame opening and the Oklahoma opening. The Notre Dame opening, we know a list that they're going to go after, right?
Yeah.
But we have guys where it's like, yeah, they'd be a good fit. Oh yeah, they're going to go after him. Oklahoma, we have no idea. Like nobody has any idea. All the analysts are saying, well, this is an utter shock. So we have zero clue on who they're going to go after. But I think you're right. I think you're in the right direction of they're going to need to screen their candidates and be like, you have to have an SEC mind. Like you have to have that kind of mindset because we are going to the SEC. So it can't be another offensive mastermind like Lincoln Riley. It's going to need to be somebody that is tough on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I'm going to say Oklahoma is kind of screwed at this point. I mean, in my eyes, just because they don't have they're not, I mean, at least they're not public with, hey, we're looking at these people, and no one's come out to say, hey, I'm accepting the Oklahoma head coaching position, or I'm looking into the head coaching position. So, I mean, right now I think it looks worse than it is actually.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I think with a young Oklahoma team coming in next year, I think we'll see basically you have a clean slate to start with almost. It's not the draft picks, not draft picks. It's not the exact personnel that you want, but it's something you can work with. And I think with the pickup of a couple true freshmen,
I think you got to go to a transfer report. Transfer portal, right? Like,
maybe get some experience to come in. Who knows? Maybe they'll pick up a current coach and he'll bring some players with him. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
It
Yeah.
honestly wouldn't surprise me.
One name that I think keeps getting thrown out is Iowa State's head coach. I think he'd be a great candidate for any of the opening positions, if we're being completely honest. So it'll be very interesting. It's going to be silly season for the next 2 months. I think to put this segment to rest in regard to the coaching, I think the one that people are going to want to keep their eyes on, the Chicago Bears. They're going to fire Nagy. Okay. They're going to fire Nagy. And what I have heard is they're circling Ryan Day. Now, I voiced my frustrations with Ryan Day. If he goes to the Chicago Bears, I wish him nothing but the best. Yeah. Right. But if the Bears convince Ryan Day to leave Ohio State, that is when stuff gets crazy.
Yeah, we're going to see a whole shift in coaching.
Oh my gosh. It's going to go ape shit. If Ryan Day leaves Ohio State for the NFL, Ohio State
going, here's my resume. Please hire me. Please.
And we all know who their top target is.
Big Dick Vic. Let's go.
And I think he would come back.
Oh yeah. I think he would. Honestly, when he
was on the staff for 2 national championships.
Yeah.
He coached with Tressel and with Urban Meyer.
Yeah. He also was the head interim coach for a while. And then, they found Urban, brought Urban in. And then, Ryan Day came in and Vic went to Cincinnati. I think him going to Cincinnati allowed him to grow as a coach.
Well, he went to Cincinnati before Ryan Day was even on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
He left to go coach at Cincinnati before. So it wasn't even like
the year before, right?
Because so it wasn't even like I'm going to leave because you didn't give it to me. So but I completely agree with you.
No.
Him being at Cincinnati, he had a rough first year.
No.
Right? But that was Cincinnati. There weren't any expectations. What he has turned them into is someone who, if you don't play a perfect game, you might lose.
Yeah.
We voiced that, they've struggled against these opponents and so they have to play a sound game as well, but it's somebody that you don't just throw your helmet out there and walk to next week on. You have to play them.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Do you want to get to conference championships?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just knock Big Ten out of here. Just do it.
Big Ten.
Michigan, boom.
Michigan's winning. Big Ten for sure. I think everyone knows that. Like,
I'm going to take Iowa.
Happen. You can take Iowa all you want, but if Iowa comes out and win, I would be shocked. And honestly, with how the season's going, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, that's a point I wanted to bring up to you, because when you said this season, it reminded me. Iowa was number 2 at one point, right?
Yeah.
When they were number 2, they lost.
Yeah.
Michigan State then became number 2. Michigan State lost. Ohio State got to number 2. Ohio State lost. Now Michigan's number 2. Does the trend continue? I don't think so. My brain says Michigan. My heart says Iowa. So I'm going Iowa because I hate the blue. Just screw them. I can't take them. I'll never take
taking
them.
Michigan because I'm a bandwagon the East just because why not?
You're also thinking logically. I'm thinking emotionally, and I hate them. So go Hawkeyes.
Go blue, baby.
I don't even know what they do.
I
don't even know their I don't even know their cheers. I mean, I know Michigan State, go green, go white. And then Indiana's you on Wisconsin. I know all those. What does Iowa do? Hit me up in the comments. What is Iowa's chant? Because I have no idea what it is.
Or if you have a link, send us that, because we want to see all of the chants. We want to get accustomed with all of the school's chants.
I'm gonna hit up Lucas Oil Stadium and paint that damn locker room for Michigan pink. Okay. Paint it pink. Let's go, Iowa.
All right. Big 12. We'll have Oklahoma State and Baylor. Who do you think's coming out on that one?
I'm
Cowboys?
I,
Cowboys?
I do think
Cowboys?
Oklahoma State will come out on top, but I think that's going to be a really good game to
Yeah.
watch.
I think it's going to be very close. And I think
It's
it's
not going to
definitely
be
going to
the
come down to a
typical.
fourth quarter, like
Yes,
final play.
I
I
don't
don't
think it's going to
think
be the
it's going to
typical
be a
shootout.
blowout or anything like that. No.
No, it's not going to be a shootout. It's not going to be like when Oklahoma's in the Big 12 championship, because like we said all year, these two teams and Iowa State from the Big 12 play like they're in the Big 10.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a very competitive physical game. I'm all for it, but I do see the Cowboys coming out on the Bears.
Okay. I agree with that. What you feeling ACC wise? We'll
I was
have
thinking about
Wake
this last
Forest
night.
and Pittsburgh playing.
You see, that's the issue is I don't like the ACC, so I don't watch a lot of ACC. I've seen more Pitt than Wake Forest, and I think I'll actually watch this game just because it's two new teams.
Yeah.
It's not the typical Clemson versus North Carolina or Clemson versus anybody, and I get my hopes up that Clemson wins. So I think I'll watch this. I'm gonna go with Pitt just because I want a Midwestern-ish team to win.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Pitt, but I think it'll be a good game.
I think it'll be a good game. Just because Wake Forest was ranked higher, I'm going to go Wake Forest.
That's
I
right, but
don't
aren't
really
they like
know too much.
14-16 or 16-18? Like, aren't they like right by
Yeah.
each other?
Yeah, they're super close with one another. So Pittsburgh 17, Wake Forest is 18. And honestly, I think that Wake Forest will upset. I guess I really don't follow the ACC enough to be like, hey,
and
these
that's not
teams are
really
really good, you know.
that's not really an upset, you know. Like
Yeah,
when you're
like
that close, that's
yeah,
not an upset.
it's
But
basically
yeah,
like
okay.
a 1 and 2 playing. So I mean,
Yeah, it should
change it
just
up
be
a
a
little
good
bit,
game.
you know.
Should just be a
I
good
think
game.
it'll be a good game. And honestly, you're looking at conference championships, so I think any game that you tune into, it's gonna be a good one. So
Theoretically.
yeah, theoretically, hopefully. Who do you got for the American Athletic Conference?
See, this is what
We got two
before
top teams of UC
I
and
know.
Houston.
And Houston, yeah. And the
Houston.
Cougs. The
The
Bearcats versus the
Cougars.
Cougs. If you would have asked me last week, I would have said Houston. But now that Ohio State has lost, I'm gonna say UC.
UC. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
because I want Fickle to win. But I think it'll be interesting. I could see UC stumbling early just because they haven't faced a good quality team lately.
Yeah. I mean,
So
Houston's a 1-loss, 11-1 team.
yeah, so like I could see Houston winning. I have faith in Fickle to figure it out.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be able to handle it. I mean, Houston's loss is to Texas Tech. So I mean, it's not like
It's a Power 5 school, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Power 5 school. So it's kind of understandable that that's going to be a loss there. But I mean, you don't really see any Power 5 schools besides or actually no, you see quite a few. And oh wait, this is not the right team. UC really only has out of the Power 5.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Because Notre Dame's not a Power 5 technically.
Yeah. Indiana. And if you think the MAC is super cool and stuff, you can say Miami of Ohio, but they're not a Power 5. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to veto that on you, you know.
Miami of Ohio. The Red Hawks.
Hey there. In case you guys care, let's go flashes. Speaking of the
Nobody
MAC
cares.
conference, really, you got UC.
Is Kent State in it?
Yeah, Kent State's in it.
Kent State's in it? Who are they
in it? Give me just a second here. I'm not sure. Everyone was like, hey, we made it. And I'm like, what? So it'll be Kent State versus Northern Illinois.
Aren't they the Huskies or something like that?
Yeah, the Huskies. Yeah. So Kent State is a 7-5 team. Northern Illinois is an 8-4. And I'm gonna go Kent State. Gonna pull out that W.
I
Who you
mean,
mad?
yeah, I'm gonna take Kent State just because
Why
Ohio,
not? Yeah.
Ohio till I die, right? Like,
Yeah.
but man, Northern Illinois is such a tough team to beat, though.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I think it'll definitely be an uphill battle, but I mean, I don't really care enough about Kent State football to say anything. I'm just picking it. Hey, alma mater, what's up, guys? But like,
that's fair.
hopefully they can pull something out. Pull out a win. That'd be kind of cool to see. Who knows?
If only Ohio State won, we could have had UC win their conference, Ohio State win their conference, Kent State win their conference. God damn it.
I mean, it's kind of funny in my opinion, because it's like usually it's the complete opposite. And it's like Ohio State's the only Ohio team that won
Yeah.
any games this year. And you're like, wow.
Yeah. Could you imagine we could make a conference of just Division I Ohio teams? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, we got enough.
We would win it
literally have
every
too
year.
many. We got
do
too
have
many.
we got too
Too many.
we have too many of them.
You got Kent State,
man.
Toledo, Bowling Green, UC, Miami of Ohio, Ohio State,
Oh yeah.
OU, oh yeah, Akron,
Dayton,
yes, Cleveland State. Are they? No, they're D3, right?
No, they're D1. They just don't have a football team.
Okay, yeah, bet Cleveland State,
Youngstown State.
Youngstown State.
Holy.
Who else?
I'm sure we're missing somebody.
I guarantee we're missing some. Like the only teams I can think of right now are like Capital,
God.
Ohio
No.
Dominican.
ODU could probably play with some small D1 teams though. Like ODU,
I have no idea if they could or not. I have no idea about them. We got Worcester.
It is Worcester, and you know it.
It's Worcester. It's
no,
Worcester.
It is Worcester, and you know it.
It is Worcester, but like Worcester.
Oh man.
What's Mount Union?
Are we
they're
going
always
on,
D3 dogs.
You want me to rattle off the D3 Ohio teams? I mean, I played against
Case
almost
Western,
all of them.
Right?
Case Western. Okay, so let's go. You got Worcester. You already said. You already said Case Western, Mount Union. You already said Capital. You got Marietta, Oberlin, Otterbein, Muskingum, Wittenberg, Defiance, Mount St. Joe, but that's in Cincinnati, so we kind of disown them.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Oh my gosh, because there's the OAC, Wilmington.
Oh yeah.
I played against all these teams. And
I know there's more.
Bluffton.
There's like one or two. Okay, two or three more.
Yeah, Bluffton. OWU, Ohio Wesleyan.
Oh yeah, Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah. I know I was forgetting somebody from the NCAC West. Who am I missing now? Oh no, that's I named off like 15.
Yeah.
It's a bunch.
We have enough teams to literally just
Ohio
make our
Northern
own conference. Oh yeah, Ohio Northern.
The Polar Bears. Yeah.
Go Bears.
ONU. They're just gonna keep coming to me now. Randomly, like, oh yeah, that one. And that one.
Like, oh yeah, hey, remember that? Yeah. They're pretty good. Honestly, I feel like there's another MAC team I'm forgetting. Toledo. I don't know if I said Toledo or not.
Yeah, you did. Okay. But Toledo's basically wants to be Michigan, so
yeah,
might as well just give it.
They're garbage.
Rockets.
Toledo
Rockets. Okay, let's get back. All
right, but we're
going down a rabbit hole.
All
the non-Ohio people, they don't give a shit about this.
Yeah, they're like, these guys are so freaking annoying, and I'm just like, yeah, I know. All right, Conference USA. We got Western Kentucky and UTSA, baby. I'm gonna go Western Kentucky because I still have no idea who UTSA is. Let's get it.
It's the University of Texas San Antonio.
Okay, well, let's go Western Kentucky.
I'm going Western Kentucky simply because Jordan is from Kentucky. And they got some sweet chrome helmets with a red stripe. So get some scarlet and gray in a championship game. So let's go Hilltoppers.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Just let me have it.
Mountain West. we got San Diego State and Utah State.
Aztecs for days.
Aztecs, same.
Just,
Okay.
that's all.
Okay.
I'm not thinking much about that matchup.
Pac-12. We do have
Ooh,
Oregon and
it's
Utah
a rematch,
coming
isn't it?
back.
It's a rematch.
I'm gonna take Oregon just because of chances of winning.
Beating a team twice is so hard.
So unlikely. If Utah pulls that off,
respect.
I love you guys.
Right. Okay. Here's
I love you guys.
Because of playing them twice. I'm gonna say Oregon, and then I'm sure there's gonna be some followers that are like, "Well, but Nick, you said because of playing twice, and you picked Oklahoma State over Baylor." Guess what? My reasoning doesn't always have to apply to me. So, I am gonna say Oregon, just because it's gonna be a neutral site. It's not at Utah, right? If Utah beat Oregon at Oregon, then I'd be like, it's Utah, right? So I'm gonna go with Oregon. However, if Utah comes out in their throwback uniforms with the all silver helmets and the red jerseys with a Buckeye-like stripe,
guys, he's just fiending. He's a fiend right now. He just really
I'm
wants
taking
to
Utah.
have
I'm taking Utah. If they come out in the
a
throwbacks,
playoff
I'm
dream
taking Utah.
of Ohio State being in the playoffs.
There's no possible way Ohio State is getting into the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's not.
No.
I mean,
I will.
You're just kind of wishing for it. You're getting your scarlet and gray fix. A different way,
Yeah. So if Utah comes out in throwbacks, I'm going Utah, but I do think Oregon will win the game.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think that leaves Sun Belt. All right. Sun Belt and SEC. But we'll get to the SEC here. Because we gotta finish it out strong. But Sun Belt, Appalachian State, and Louisiana.
The Raging Cajuns?
Let's go Cajuns, baby.
The Raging Cajuns? God, is one of them? Is Louisiana still ranked?
I don't think Louisiana is ranked. They are currently 20th. App State is not ranked.
What's
but they're low
record?
key kind of nasty with it.
I know they were ranked last year. Remember, they were ranked last year. They were ranked to start the year.
My favorite memory of them is literally just blocking that kick from Michigan and returning it for a touchdown to win the game.
I have an Appalachian State shirt because of that. And I have another shirt that says, my two favorite teams are Ohio State and anyone that beats Michigan. So
go App State.
Because of that, go App State.
I mean, App State's 10-2, and Louisiana's 11-1.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
I mean, it's gonna be a good game. But for nostalgia purposes, I'm gonna have to go. Psych, I'm going Raging Cajuns because who doesn't want to see Louisiana win? Why not?
Why not? Right?
Screw it. I haven't seen either of these teams play. Just keep it spicy.
I know nothing.
I know you guys. I'm Pee Wee Herman. And then to close it out, we have Top Dog versus Underdog. Top Dog.
They said Georgia this is the first time
versus Alabama.
This is the first time in over a year that Alabama's an underdog.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Top dog versus underdog.
Alabama, kind of been sleeping this year. I don't know if they're just trying to catch up on their sleep from COVID or what's going on with them. But
COVID's not a thing in Bama.
Oh,
remember, true. COVID's not a thing in Bama.
Oh, you mean the flu? Oh, I had that yesterday.
You taking Georgia?
Oh yeah, I'm going Georgia. I mean, you're literally asking me, do I want to see Alabama in the playoffs again? Nope. Do I want to see Georgia win out? I want to see them make it to the playoffs without Alabama, have only one SEC school there. Let's see, Georgia. Honestly, I'd be all right if Georgia won out, but yeah,
like you wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, I feel like this is gross, but like Now, if Bama's like, "Hey guys, we're gonna win this conference,"
Oh my God,
and then they
there's
go
a
into the playoffs, I'd be
because
sick. I'd be
I
sick.
think the big thing is like Georgia. It's like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want another SEC team to win, but like you think about it, like Georgia's not your
They
LSU. It's not
haven't
their
been there in a
Florida.
minute,
It's not
too.
the Bama, and it's not obnoxious fans.
Yeah,
Everybody that I've met from Georgia, everybody that I've met that's a Georgia fan, it's not like the Bama fans. It's not like the Florida fans. It's not like the LSU fans. LSU fans are actually like pretty funny, but
yeah,
it's not
I
that
like
like
them.
traditional SEC where it's like, oh my God, I can't stand them. Like
Gosh.
if Georgia wins, I'm like, okay, but also I am picking Georgia. I think their defense is just too amazing. But also I'm looking forward to seeing those silver pants running around,
Yeah.
running around the
With the
field.
red jerseys
Actually, yeah, I do, but I do like their alternate
and the
away
red helmets.
jerseys. Their alternate away jerseys that have the Buckeye stripe on the side. Um,
Oh.
I gotta get my fix somehow. We're not playing. Okay. I'm addicted to Ohio State football.
I have a problem with Ohio State football.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a problem.
But like,
I can stop watching whenever I want. I just choose not to.
instead of watching next week's games, you're just watching reruns of Ohio State games.
Hey, BTN will show some. Actually, BTN will probably
Yeah.
show. I don't know. In the past, they've shown past. Yeah, I might do that because they've shown past Big Ten championship games leading up to the championship game. So I can watch, theoretically, if they do that, I can watch 4 Ohio State games
Back to
before
back.
I
Yeah.
want to throw the remote at the TV because I see the god awful winged fucking helmet. God, I hate that.
Go blue, baby.
I can't believe you said that.
Blue face, baby. What?
Friendship over.
You're fired. You're terminated.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
See you later. Bye, idiot.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, I think Georgia will win. So leading
Final
into
four, though.
that, yeah,
Who you
leading
got
into
now?
that, who do I have in the Final Four?
Yeah.
I got Georgia number 1.
All right.
Fucking Michigan at number 2.
Yeah.
I got. Let's see. Okay, I got 2 scenarios. Ready? I do think Michigan will win, just because I don't think Iowa. Like I said, Iowa's offense is booty hole. Okay, it's booty cheeks. So I think it will be Georgia, Michigan. Now 3 and 4, I think it will be Oklahoma State and UC. I just don't know. Like the way that Alabama played against Auburn, I thought was warranted of dropping them a spot. Like if you're going to say, what have you done for me lately? Well, you just piss yourself against Auburn. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're setting that up where they're like, we want Oklahoma State to come up and jump to the 3. So like 3 and 4, I can see as interchangeable. I would rather have it be Georgia, Michigan, Oklahoma State, and UC. I think that's what they're kind of setting it up to be.
The only thing
we'll
I see with that is I would like to see UC go 3 and play Michigan, and then have Oklahoma State play 4 and then them play Georgia, just because I think that would be a better game.
Well, that's what I can see either way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I can see either way. It's just the way that they didn't punish Alabama at all for barely beating a decimated Auburn. It kind of seems like they're setting it up for Cincinnati. If you get in, it's at 4.
Yeah.
Now the wild card is
Notre Dame, though.
See that now that's what I was going to get to is if Iowa beats Michigan, which again, because it's Michigan, it's very likely, right? Or it's not very likely. It could happen.
Yeah.
Like don't just credit them off as not a threat. But if that happens, then I think your top 4 are going to be something in regard to Georgia, Oklahoma State, UC, and Notre Dame. Yeah. So I don't think there's anybody else you can put in because everybody else has 2 losses at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like the reality is that a 2-loss Ohio State and a 2-loss Alabama probably are still better than UC, if we're being completely honest. If you threw them
Yeah.
out there right now, those two teams are probably going to beat UC. But at that point, it is the most deserving.
Yeah.
And in that regard, well, Notre Dame, your one loss is the UC. You survived all the other stuff, even though Ohio State and Alabama would beat you. Your one loss, the other ones are 2 losses. And we've never done a 2-loss team before, so we can't justify doing it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what order that would be in. Zero
And
idea.
yeah, I think currently we're just at the point where it's like we really just need to wait to see exactly what happens next week and then get into like what's actually going to go down for bowl season, because I'm actually interested to watch a lot of bowls this winter. I feel like I always
I
watch
think
the like major, like I
the
always,
New Year Six.
yeah, you always watch the New Year Six, but then like other than that, I've kind of been like, eh.
Yeah,
Know?
but yeah,
This
you're
year
probably
we got a
gonna.
lot of teams coming in. Do you think
Well,
Ohio
that
State's going into a bowl? Maybe, possibly.
yes, they're gonna be in a new.
No, no, garbage.
um,
No.
but yeah, I mean, it'll be a very interesting bowl season. I think what's really cool is there's gonna be there should be 3 Big Ten teams in New Year's Six bowl games. Whether in the playoff or not, there should be 3 in the bowl game and New Year's Six bowl games. So that's pretty cool. Before we get to your picks, real quick, if Alabama beats Georgia, I think that's another like monkey wrench, big time.
Yeah,
If
that's
Alabama
gonna
beats
literally
Georgia,
mess everything up.
because then you're arguing between Oklahoma State, if Oklahoma State wins, Oklahoma State, UC, and Notre Dame, right? So like for one spot, because you're not going to drop Georgia out of the top 4. They don't deserve to be dropped out of the top 4, right? Yeah. But then Alabama's obviously in. But if Georgia holds on and they win, what I thought about this over the weekend after Ohio State lost, everybody was complaining at the beginning of the season. It's always the same 4 teams in the Final Four. That's why we need to expand, right? It's always the same 4. It's boring. Well, folks, if Georgia beats Alabama this weekend, we're looking at a Final Four that does not have Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, or Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The 4 teams that have been in there the most among everybody else.
Bye-bye.
None of them are in.
Bye-bye.
So, like, I do think we need to expand a little bit. I don't know about 12, 16 teams. I think that's too much because you're not going to have competitive games.
Yeah.
I would like 6 or 8. That's just me.
Yeah,
I think 8 would be really cool because you could go top 4 teams, quarterfinals are at your stadium.
Yeah.
You host in December. Go. I think that'd be really cool because you might have like an Ole Miss come up to the shoe, right? Like
that'd be interesting. I like that.
I would really like it because now we really see who's the toughest team, right?
Yeah.
Mentally tough. So I just wanted to point that out, that like everybody was complaining about it's always the 4 same teams, and now we're looking at a Final Four that isn't gonna have.
And I can see people be like, I don't even want to watch this because like
I do think ratings will be down.
I think ratings will probably be down just because
because of the brand, because of the brands of the teams.
Alabama, there's no Ohio State, but I mean, I still think the true fans will still check in to watch those games, so I'm not too worried about it. But I think it's kind of sad that like no one really watches those games if their team's not in there.
It's funny because
they're still good games though. You know, I'd say over the years I've left the whole idea of I am really just I really only follow the Buckeyes like to like heart and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, football is football and you can't really bash it. You know, like there's always going to be like those games where it's just like, oh, someone just blew this other team out. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. But we're in that part of the season where it's like the top dogs are just duking it out. So the football is
Yeah.
bound to be good. Like honestly, like even if you're not watching it the whole time, throw it on the background. Like it's worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people do around New Year's is you're doing stuff, right? Like New
Yeah.
Year's Eve, you're hanging out with family. New Year's Day, you're hanging out with family. Those games happen to be on.
Sleeping.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think that it's an interesting point that you bring up with the whole everybody's complaining, right? And then when it actually happens and there's not those brands, everyone's like, well, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Why would I want to watch UC? And it's just funny to me because it's like, these are the same people that are complaining about it's always Ohio State and Clemson and Alabama, and then it's well, all three had pretty crappy years in comparison to their expectation and their play. They're not in it, and it's like, well, I'm not watching it now.
Yeah.
I find it interesting because I feel like that's so our society nowadays.
Yeah, and that's like people want what they can't have, and then when they get what they think they wanted,
and they're like, no,
they're just like,
take it
dude,
back.
what am I doing? I don't want this.
And like, that is why we give Christmas gifts with receipts now.
Yes. If you guys are doing Christmas shopping, please get a receipt. Most of the time,
your Christmas shopping, it's December 1st. It should already be done.
Yeah. Don't at me, all right? Chill. But you know,
I'm
when
done.
It comes down
I'm done
to
with
it,
everything.
Like, just put the receipt in there. You know, if you buy in bulk and buy a bunch of things all at once, just
you go to
get
Sam's
separate
Club.
receipts. You know,
Well,
not even like if you go to Sam's Club and Costco have some pretty good deals on like tech and clothing. So like, you know, if you're trying to catch something real cheap, you know, check those places out. This weekend. You know?
I haven't been to Sam's in like a month. That's the thing though. Like you buy in bulk and it's like, oh, I don't gotta go back forever.
Yeah, I don't have to go back. Yeah, like we went to Costco the other day, we actually went like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we still are going through the stuff that we got.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's nice. All right, everyone, go get your Christmas shopping done. Come back next week. Who knows? Maybe.
Wait.
Oh, we got one more. We got.
Well, you never said your final four.
Oh yeah. Okay. So final four here.
Rapid fire.
I'm gonna take Georgia number 1.
That team up north is number 2.
Yeah, Michigan's 2. And then 3, 4, and 5, I think are definitely going to be interchangeable. It's literally just OSU, not Ohio State. Oh. No, I wish. But
I'm gonna live vicariously through them.
I know, right?
I want Oklahoma State to be 3s just so I can say I want Georgia and Oklahoma State to be in the final.
I want to see OSU win.
OSU and a team that has gray pants and red main color.
Exactly. Like, come on, guys, just make it happen.
It's not that hard.
But yeah, it's gonna be between OSU. I need to stop saying OSU. I keep thinking of Ohio State, but I feel like people realize. But Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, and UC. I think it all kind of will come down to, conference games. If they go as I'm kind of predicting, we'll kind of run into the same scenario. I think it'll more come down to what the playoff committee will decide for UC. Whether they think their schedule's worthy enough to put them in, or if, is Notre Dame worthy to be put in? They lost to.
That'd be pretty crappy, though.
Yeah.
You put Notre Dame in over the team that they lost to.
Yeah. But I mean, Notre Dame's had I feel like they've had a
resurrection,
schedule, but they've come back, and I think they're hot now. If
they are hot right now.
Put them into
Rudy.
I know, right? Rudy 2.0, baby.
Before we wrap it up, because I just want to end on a high note, because I'm just making myself sad thinking about how the Buckeyes fell flat on their face in Ann Arbor to that team up north. In case you guys missed it, ACC Big Ten Challenge, is going on right now. The Duke Blue Devils on Coach K's farewell tour entered Columbus in the Schottenstein Center Value City Arena on
I don't want to talk about it.
November 30th. So last night. And the Buckeyes shocked the world. Beat
kind of took
number
the Devils in
one.
that one, and
Beat
go too
number one,
well. Didn't
Duke.
go too well.
Down goes Duke. Down go Ohio against the world.
They went crazy, stormed the court.
Well, yeah, it's number
and
one.
Went
Kobe doesn't
hard.
exist when you beat number one.
That's true. That's true. Was it Come On Eileen? They were jamming out too.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I don't know. There's so many videos of people just going crazy after that win. Honestly, I thought Duke had it at halftime, but
13 point. Yeah, it was a 13 point halftime.
Yeah, 13
lead.
point game. And I was like, okay, yeah, Duke's got this big bet.
That
I'm
just
not gonna watch
shows
the second
you.
half. Yeah, should have watched the
Rake
second
Ohio
half.
State number one. Rake 'em Ohio.
Nah,
Unranked the one. Let's go.
I mean, it's college basketball, so like Ohio State will be ranked 1 and then lose one game, and then they'll be ranked like 13th, and then they'll just fluctuate.
I just love it. Let's go. Ohio against the world.
Ohio against the world.
Peace.